Oh man, we have so much to talk about on this one. Here we go.
Here's the thing. We're pastors here in Texas. We are moving to Oklahoma to be pastors of a church there. And what's awesome as part of the deal is we have a parsonage, so we will not have a mortgage payment there.
So real quick, in case you don't know, a parsonage is a house provided by the church. Sometimes it could be a stipend for like housing payments, but in this case, it sounds like it's an actual house.
And so my ultimate dream is that we are financially independent from the church. I love the church. I would love to one day not even have to take a paycheck from the church.
That's a really cool idea. Being financially independent from the church, meaning that you're not depending on the church for your salary. You can still receive one, but your ability to pastor the church doesn't hinge on whether or not they're going to be able to pay you a high enough salary. Does that make sense? All right, let's get to the question.
And so what I'm seeing is our expenses are staying the same. Our income's actually going up a little bit with this move, and I would like to turn my house in Texas into an Airbnb property and hopefully even make income to take one step closer to being financially independent from the church. And so my question really is that a smart move, or should I just sell my home here in Texas, profit, I don't know, the way the market is right now, I can maybe profit 60, 70K, something along those lines from what I've seen. And so I'm just asking you what maybe the better or best option is.
All right, so sell the house and pocket the 70 grand, or put it on Airbnb. And I'll add a third option in a minute. But out of these two, you probably already know what I'm gonna say. Don't sell the house. Yeah, but that means he'll have to manage a property out of state. Fair point. But the interest rate that he has on his current house is going to be significantly lower than the one that he buys in Oklahoma. Even if rates come down a little bit, the house that they bought in Dallas, they bought as their primary home. The one they would buy in Oklahoma would be an investment property. So they'd have to put 20% down, and they'll have a higher interest rate just because it's an investment property. So if they were to sell the house, you're going to pay at least $15,000 in realtor fees. You'll lose the low interest rate you already have. You're going to pay closing costs on the house in Oklahoma and be paying a significantly higher interest rate. The only way this would make sense is if the rental market in Oklahoma is on fire and you can cash flow just ridiculous amounts. But assuming that's not the case, let's see what Dave says.
I love your goal, and I don't dislike your plan overall. I would sell the house and move the money to Oklahoma, pile up some more cash, and pay cash for your first rental in your own backyard. Airbnbs have two problems that all the people that talk about how much money they make with them don't bring up. They have three problems that people don't bring up. Problem number one, there's a ton of hassle, a lot of details, a lot of work involved in getting the people in, getting them out, getting them cleaned, all that kind of stuff. Like probably 25x a normal rental, because you'll have multiple renters in a single month, right? And so you've got maid service, you've got a higher level of maintenance, you've got a lot of work involved in managing and messing with them. Okay, so a lot of hassle.
Could I speak?
Go ahead.
So sorry to interrupt. Can I just speak to that? I do have family here in Texas that would be managing the property, and so I kind of have a little bit of a built-in system,
which is a bad idea. You're taking advantage of your family. Okay.
I don't think that's a bad idea if you pay them. And honestly, you're going to hire a cleaning company, unless the plan is to make your family the cleaning company. But if it is an actual company that you hire to clean the Airbnb after each guest, they can check on the property for you. So the amount of work that your family will have to do is pretty minimal.
Okay. I'm telling you, Airbnb, the hassle factor is very high. There's great money, but the hassle factor is very high. So if you want to do an Airbnb, it needs to be in your backyard.
Okay, sorry. I promise I'll let it run longer next time. Now, disclaimer, I don't have an Airbnb yet. But from the research I've been doing, there seems to be two gold nuggets that lead to success. Create a unique experience for your guests and get a process in place that minimizes the amount of work that you have to do. So instead of cleaning the property yourself, hire a cleaning company. Instead of having physical keys that you have to pass to your guests, have electronic locks that you can change from your phone every time that you have a different guest stay at the property. things like that. So those two things will allow you to have an Airbnb anywhere you want. Will it be easier to have an Airbnb within driving distance of your house? Yeah, but in this scenario, is the convenience factor worth the realtor fees, closing costs, and higher interest rate that we talked about before? All right, let's keep going.
Problem number one with Airbnbs. Problem number two with Airbnbs is you have a lot of extra maintenance. People tear the crap out of your property. Nobody talks about that. That's the dirty little secret of Airbnbs. You're constantly buying carpet. You're constantly buying paint and drywall repair because they do not take it. I don't care how big a deposit you get or how much screening you do. It's not their house. And so you're going to have a high level of repairs and maintenance, which is part of that hassle factor.
Yeah, I have heard that. Not always, but it does happen. But here's the flip side of that. If you're netting $30,000 from your property, are you going to be mad that you have to put $5,000 back into the house for maintenance? Probably not.
The third thing that nobody's talking about is several areas are now passing zoning prohibiting it.
Right.
And so if you set your whole model up only on Airbnb, you could have the rug jerked out from under you. If the only way the deal works is Airbnb, don't do the deal because it might not be available to you.
Very true. Do lots of research in the area that you're looking at before you buy a house to be an Airbnb. And even look at things like, is the county that you're looking to buy in landlord friendly? Are they putting policies in place that protect property owners?
Now, if you want to run the hassle for the extra money and run the maintenance for the extra money, you'll make more money. But it's a lot of work. So I would move the money to Oklahoma, whether you're going to do a straight rental or whether you're going to do an Airbnb, because it's in your backyard and you're going to lay your hands on it, and you are a man who controls your destiny. You don't ask your first cousin to do it.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of the video, but here's my option 3 that I told you I would give you earlier in the video. Keep the house in Dallas as a long-term rental. That's what I would do. Less maintenance, easier to manage when you're out of state, and if you still have family there, you're probably going to come back to town at least once a year, so check on the property when you're back in town. You'll also keep your low interest rate, you'll cash flow, and you'll continue paying down the principal balance of the house every month. It's the option that makes the most sense in my mind. But what would you guys do? Is there anyone that made it this far in the video that does have an Airbnb? And if so, how would you handle this situation? What are some of the things that you would think through before deciding if you wanted to turn it into an Airbnb or a long-term rental? Let me know in the comments. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time.